Good morning. What is today? Tuesday. Sorry, I got lost in the storm last night. I guess it's today Tuesday? Yeah, today is Tuesday, isn't it? Okay, good. I don't know. I've been up since 4, so I don't know. I hope you're having a great Tuesday. It is Tuesday. That's why I was looking in my bank account for a deposit that comes in on Wednesdays and it wasn't there yet, right? I didn't get the email because it's only Tuesday. But it's been a long week already. Had lots of stuff going on, right? Well, I hope you're having a great day. I hope you're having a great week too. I don't have my book here because it's over there with my other stuff, but grab you a study guide and get ready for Thursday night. No matter what, 7 o'clock Central, we're gonna start our study of First John, and my uncle Roger and I were talking about it last night, and just how, you know, just I'm eager to get together and learn from others and hear what get feedback, and that's what I can ask questions, open-ended questions. We can talk about what each of us think, and we can kind of pull that together and find things that are applicable. That's my main thing. I want this right here to be applicable in my life. If it's just a book, I read some novels. I like Francine Rivers. She's got some really cool Christian novels there. They're kind of historical fiction and Christian novels and love stories usually too, all mixed in together. But I can read her book, and I guess there's some good things come out of it. It's enjoyable. It's wholesome. There's always a real underlying Christian theme, and they're just really good books. I haven't read any of her books I didn't like, so she's one of my favorite authors. But then I'm gonna put that book on the shelf. I didn't live any of that, right? I might have related to a character. I enjoyed the story. I might have learned something in the process, but it's not necessarily anything I'm going to have for the rest of my life to apply. But when we read the Word of God, the good thing is then we can apply it, right? That's what David said. He said, "Your word." Uh, is a light to my path. So I read your word, I study your word, and then it lights my path. It shows me where to walk. It helps me with my walk day to day. He said, I've hidden your word in my heart so that I don't sin against you. So he had some application there of the word, and he didn't even have the word that we have. He actually had to memorize it because you couldn't carry it around with you back then, all those scrolls and stuff, right? So he had to go to where the was correct. He could have them come and read to him, and the priest could read it to him too. But he memorized it so that he had it in his heart, right? But he didn't have Psalms; he was busy writing them, right? He didn't have Proverbs because Solomon wasn't even born yet, right? So he had the first five books and maybe Job, I think, and because I think Job was officially maybe the earliest actual written down manuscript that we've uncovered, I think. Anyway, so he didn't have what we have. And so we can take this though and we can apply it. So this morning, we had a bad storm here, and I know I have listeners and followers from kind of all over the place. But uh, in Oklahoma and moving towards the east here, with lots of storms came through. I was talking to my cousin Brian last night as a storm that came through here hit in Missouri or Arkansas, excuse me, and we were watching the lightning together because we were FaceTiming, and so those storms moved across. Right, my friend Mary knows it's going to rain in Indianapolis today because it rained here today. Because she was, what's your weather today? That's what I'm going to get tomorrow, pretty much. And so we're watching the storms, and so I know it affects a lot of people because it just moves across. And man, that was a big old long line of storms. It was like from way up north all the way down to like Wichita Falls. It just went way across. It just was massive as far as length. It wasn't big around storm like a hurricane, but it was just this long line of storms just shoveling across, right? So I got up this morning, I started opening the windows. I'm like, well, we didn't lose any tree branches, and I had watched this one last night. We didn't ended up not having any tornadoes right here. We were in a watch, and then we had a severe storm, and it kind of went right north of me and right south of me. They mentioned Lake Hefner, which is, you see pictures of me taking Chris to Lake Hefner all the time. And so I knew it was here. So I knew there wasn't a lot of damage, but I still got up this morning as I was opening the windows. I was like, oh, no tree branches down. Okay. The car is still there. No hail. We didn't get any hail, just assessing some damage. And do you ever get up in the morning? I get up like this every morning, I think, just to assess. Oh, am I okay? What did I bring into today from yesterday? The good stuff. I'm not talking about the bad stuff. What do I still have together? How's my bank account look? Which clients do I have today? How's my job look? How do my relationships look? You just do that assessment in the morning. Did I lose anything since yesterday? What do I have to work with today? Right? And so I was doing this assessment after the storm last night. Oh, that it's kind of rude that it's 47 after being 80 and being 60 at night for so long, for so many days in a row. And so 47 was rather rude, I thought. I had pulled out my long sleeve shirts again, which I wear most of the time anyway. But I was like, "No, that's just rude." I was assessing what I have. And so I thought, when we go through a storm in life, we'll go through any situation. Maybe we change jobs. Maybe we move to another house. Maybe we dissolve a toxic relation, get out of a toxic relationship. Please get out of toxic relationships. You can still love that person, but you do not have to be abused by them. That's just a side note. Anyway, maybe we decide we can't be in a close relationship with this person, and even though it's a toxic relationship, that can hurt. I mean, because you've vested in that person, you've spent time with that person, you love that person, and and you hate to see it going that way, but so it can be traumatic. Or maybe somebody moves to another part of the country. Change happens all the time. It's not always a storm, it's not always bad, but we always find these, I'll just call them good points to do an assessment. Just run an assessment through your life, right? What do I still have intact, and what has fallen off, and how did I get here without that, right? Whatever that might be for you. And so I was thinking about all of that this morning, and um, I thought, the thing is, no matter what, I'm not shaken. When I assess, I guess I got there from here. I was thinking about, oh, let's see, yep, everything's all still together. I'm doing this little assessment, how did the storms leave us? Okay, everything looks good, because I couldn't even hardly see across the street last night when the storm came through. It was so just massive and full of rain and wind, and it was just crazy. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, we made it. We're okay. And we assess what's still in our lives today. And you know what will always be there? God will always be there. We can lose a house, we can lose a child, God forbid, we can lose a parent, we can lose a job, we can lose a relationship, we can in a storm we look around that after if a home is damaged and they try to find what's left, God will always still be there for you no matter what you go through, good or bad. He can't be shaken, and because he's in your life, you can't be shaken. So I looked it up. I know there's several verses, but I landed in Psalm 16:8, and it says this in the New American Standard: I have set the Lord continually before me. Because he is at my right hand, I will not be shaken. Because he is at my right hand. Because God is here, I'm not going to be shaken. See, when I go through anything in life, I'm going to find that he is still right here. He never throws in the towel. He never says, no, that's too complicated for me. No, I'm out. Right? He doesn't say, no, this picture is too ugly for me to deal with. I don't know what to do with that. I didn't see that coming. There's a whole host of things you're never going to hear God say. You never hear him say, I'm out. That was the last straw. I'm done with you. I'm not walking through. You've got some crazy stuff going on. I'm out. Right? Those are things we're never going to hear God say. When no matter how bad everything shakes in our little worlds or the big world, what we will find is, what does it say? Because he's at my right side, I will not be shaken. The New King James says that I have set the Lord before me, always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I will not be moved. I will not be shaken. And so part of that is our responsibility when we continue to look to him as our source, continue to trust him, continue to let his peace reign, continue to let his word dwell in us richly. All these things we've talked about over the last 2+ years, right? When we do that, when things do happen to us, and I pray they don't, but when they do, they're going to, we're still breathing. Things are going to happen. Storms are going to blow through. They can be good or they can be bad. Jobs are going to change. People are going to pass. We hate that, but it's part of life, grieving those who we lose, right? But as long as we keep the Lord before us, when we get through that day or that trial or that lion's den or that fire, then we can truly say, I'm not shaken because God is right here with me. He will not, you won't get on the other side and go, oh, I lost him. Oh, I think, I don't know where he went. Because, right, he's right there. He was there through the storm. He was there after the storm. He was there before the storm. He was there before a divorce and after a divorce and through the divorce. He's there through the loss of a child, the loss of a parent, the birth of a child. Today's my granddaughter's 10th birthday. Wow, how did this happen? Right? Anyway, and so through the birth of a child or the death of a child and the growth of a child as they grow into a young adult and a teenager and a young adult and leave the nest. Well, mine never did. He was supposed to leave. He did leave, but he came back. But through, no matter what life brings, God is right there. And because of that, when we put our trust in Him, we don't nothing can shake that. Now, if you're putting your trust in your job, your relationships, your family, your kids, your abilities, if that's what you're trusting, it's not that we aren't confident in those things to a certain degree, and that we don't have some trust in those, but when we put all of that in His hands, we won't be shaken. So no matter what we go through, He's right here. Whether we get in a boat in a storm, whether we get in a wreck in our car, or whether we're just driving down the road to see the scenery, no matter what we do, we won't be shaken by the things that come through, the storms that come through. What does it say? We'll have to run back to that verse in Isaiah, right? Isaiah 43 that talks about, hold on, because it come to mind. When you pass through the waters, He says, I will be with you. I won't be shaken. I may pass through the waters, but I'm going to go through them first off. And second of all, He's going to be right there. He has nowhere to go, right? When you go through the rivers, they won't overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you won't be burned. The flame won't scorch you because I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. He's saying, I'm with you no matter what. Bad choices, He's right there. Good choices, He's right there. Indifferent choices, could have gone a better way, but not necessarily real bad. He's right there. Hard things, trials, struggles, He's right there. Good things, good times, extra checks from work. That doesn't happen. But it could. The good things. He's there. It doesn't matter. He doesn't have a list of things won't accompany you through. There's not a list here that ever there's all kinds of lists we can find where He says He's with us. The water, the fire, they won't overflow us, right? If we're in a lion's den, we face a giant. We've got all these stories where God was there with others and promises to be there with us forever. But you're not going to find a list here where He says, okay, I'm with you unless you're going over 80 in the car and you know the speed limit's 70. I'm still with you. You need to slow down, but I'm still with you. He doesn't say, I'm with you unless you do something bad. That doesn't... What kind of God is that, right? I'm with you unless you sin. No, what does it say? If we look at Romans 8, He not only is He with us, but He will love us. Nothing can separate us from His love. And I'm telling y'all, that blows my mind. And it may not be a very big explosion, and it may not burn for very long, but it blows my mind. He said, and there's the other scripture too that talks about no matter what kind of things you go through. But hold on, let me go back to Romans 8. He says, tribulations, distress, persecution, famine, nakedness, peril, sword. God forbid nakedness, right? Sword. None of these things, and all these things were still more than conquerors. And all these, you won't find a list of things. I'm going to study this today because I just got myself all excited, y'all. You won't find a list of things, of exclusionary statements in the Bible. You won't find a list of things that He's not willing to go through with you. He doesn't say, well, that's too big. No, I'm not in the mood for that today. I'll wait here. Let me know how that went. No, there's no list of things He won't. Whether you cause them yourself, because sometimes we think, well, God wouldn't go through that with me because I did that to myself, right? I made some bad decisions, and God's not. And although He's not responsible for your consequences, He won't leave you because of those dumb decisions that you make. or poor decisions or poorly informed decisions. He never says, "Yeah, that was dumb. I'll be back later." No, he's there. There's no list of things in the Bible that he won't walk through you with. That just excited me, y'all. I'm ready to go now. I gotta quit though. I'm almost at 15 minutes. Used to just do 10. Anyway, so just relax today and know that because if you keep God at the forefront of your thoughts, your heart, you embrace him, you love him, you will not be shaken. You may go through the same storm as everybody else. You may go through the same troubles as everybody else. We all are coming through the pandemic. We're still struggling through some financial craziness that's going on, right? That doesn't look like it's going to end. But you know what? God is our source, and we don't have to be shaken as long as we focus on him and not all these things that are going on around us. Got to get our heart focused on. Our mind can take care of all these things, but our heart has to be focused on him and embracing him in the midst of all of that. And then when that happens, boom, we can't be shaken. We won't be shaken if we're hidden in him because he can't be shaken, right? Isn't that amazing? That's pretty cool. Man, I got stuff to think about today. It's gonna be my meditation today. That's how I'm gonna peace out today. Have a great day. Peace out. May mercy, grace, and peace overtake you and surprise you today. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow.